Trane in the house. What's going on, man?
Not too much, man. You?
This is CANCAST. I'm Craig. This is Canada's Cannabis Podcast. I'm joined today with my buddy Koelton. And we're going to kick things off here with a little, it's kind of like an LP video, almost like that. It'll make sense by the end.
Hey guys, I'm Dylan from Kelowna Now, and today I'm with Trent Kish from Doja Cannabis Company. Trent, how we doing?
Great.
So tell me a bit about Doja Cannabis Company and what it represents and what it hopes to achieve.
So Doja is a premium lifestyle cannabis company. We're a federally licensed producer of cannabis through Health Canada, and we're part of the ACMPR, which is the federally legal way to access cannabis in Canada. And we hope to achieve the best quality flower and cannabis products in Canada.
Okay, great. Now there's a lot of different licenses and there's dispensaries and stuff. Sometimes there's some confusion with people about it. Tell us a bit about your guys' particular license.
So the legal way for people to access cannabis in Canada is through the ACMPR, which means they upload a medical document from our website, take it to their doctor or see a doctor through our Cannabis Access Center, and then they'll order the cannabis online and we discreetly mail it to their door.
So we went on quite a tour of the production facility earlier today. Tell me a bit about what's going on in there and the science behind it.
Well, basically the regulations are very stringent with regards to mold, pesticides, things of that nature. So we run a very tight ship and also very scientific ship, as you saw. So basically I always say you could have like heart surgery in there, but we're trying to create the highest quality cannabis that Mother Nature and us can combine to make.
Cool. So after that, we're here now is going to be the Doja Cafe when it does open. What's going to be happening in here?
So this is the Doja Culture Cafe, and this is a place where people can learn more about medicinal cannabis, as well as have a nice coffee or some light eats while we intimately discuss, maybe how it can improve the benefits of their life, and then also explain to people the ACMPR and the legal way to access cannabis.
And now the Liberal government is currently scheduling to legalize marijuana on July 1st, 2018. How might this change, or how are you guys preparing for that?
Well, basically that's true. July 1st, 2018 is the federal date for legal recreational cannabis in Canada. And us as licensed producers look forward to that opportunity. And we believe that the market is going to grow significantly. So we're in preparation for that, increasing capacity as well as opening facilities like this to let people know we exist and how to access cannabis.
I'm sure he was high as fuck when he was doing that interview.
For sure, no doubt.
So we're going to talk about them a little bit as we move on. They, have you heard of Tokyo Smoke?
Never heard of Tokyo Smoke.
So it's the same kind of deal, like they have their Doja Cafe. Well, Tokyo Smoke is basically, for the last few years, they've been setting up a legitimate coffee shop, no cannabis on site, coffee shop in the front, and then like your head shop in the back. So for all your bongs or like weed clothing and shit like that, like they're trying to combine like what am I trying to say here? The public acceptance, I guess. They're trying to blend it in kind of with the coffee thing to make it more, what am I trying to say?
Kosher, more.
It's like a soft launch.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
yeah.
Like it's been going on for a couple of years. They've been trying to like work on their brand and make themselves known in the industry while staying legal. So now they're gearing up for legalization with Doja. Here, I'll play this next video here and it'll explain it a lot better than I can.
Yeah, I'm Alan Gertner. I'm the CEO and co-founder of Tokyo Smoke, and we're standing in Tokyo Smoke Found, our flagship location. Tokyo Smoke Found is the third wave coffee shop, and that's a coffee shop that serves beautiful, interesting drinks, intricate drinks, drinks that a consumer can truly love, and can be great for reasons beyond strength. That's third wave coffee. We think back to first wave coffee. First wave coffee was coffee in a diner, and the only way you knew first wave coffee was good was because it was strong. It's like, oh, this strong cup of coffee. This is great coffee, right? Look to old school movies, great coffee is strong coffee. But now third wave coffee, great coffee is beautiful coffee. We're in first wave marijuana. First wave marijuana, all consumers know right now, It's just strong pot and weak pot. And as Tokyo Smoke, I want to build a brand that can represent beautiful pot. And as we make our way towards third wave marijuana, I want to build a brand and build a language so that consumers can truly appreciate marijuana. So we believe there are 4 fundamental kinds of marijuana experiences. What I'll call go, relax, relief, and balance. Go being energizing, relaxing, relax. Balance, an even experience, reliable experience. And relief, a more medical experience, pain relieving, stress relieving. And so what I see is a world where as you start to understand marijuana more, you get this language that you can use. I know I want a go experience. I know I want a relaxing experience. And we try to mirror that with our services right now. So we have 4 different custom blends of tea: go, relax, relief, balance. 4 different roasts of coffee. So we can use this known experience to explain this unknown experience, cannabis. Part of the marijuana revolution will be normalization. Marijuana will be as normal as alcohol and then as normal as coffee. And so to help that transition, we wanted to build a store where marijuana could look beautiful and marijuana could fit seamlessly into the rest of your life. So we built this beautiful store in an old shipping dock. It was a space that was sort of garbage, a space that wasn't used at all. And so we did literally what we want to do to the marijuana industry metaphorically. We want to make it beautiful. And so we built this store with cool, interesting products, lifestyle products, serving third wave coffee in the front so consumers can feel like it's a beautiful place. And then we peppered it with the best marijuana paraphernalia in the market so that someone can be proud of the vaporizer they own. We have a responsibility to bring beautiful cannabis to market. I believe that in my heart and soul. That's going to be important to this movement. It needs to be reliable, and cannabis needs to be more understandable. And so we can only promise to do that for consumers if we can do that in everything that we do. Back to retail, right? Retail needs to be great. It needs to be special. It needs to be delightful. And ultimately, with Tokyo Smoke, everything we do has to be a delightful experience for consumers, for us to truly deliver on the promise of beautiful and elegant cannabis.
Kind of douchey, but like the point, it still brings the point home that there are smaller players in this, and it's not all about money. There are people who actually care about the reculturization of cannabis, I guess, and just people who are aware that it's like a good. It's not just a medicine, but it's like every part of it can be medicinal. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I was gonna say though, do you know how many licenses they're giving away in Ontario? Do you know?
In Ontario?
Yeah, in Ontario. Well, where we live.
I'm sure we can figure that out real quick.
Yeah. Just because,
they're popping up, man, every fucking day, and it would be stupid for people with the money not to get into it on the ground floor now. Let me check. So we'll say Ontario licensed producers, number of licensed producers. And the whole thing about that too is you can be a licensed producer but not have your commercialization license, your selling license, right?
Okay.
So you can grow it all you fucking want. Like Niagara College, they're going to have their production license. What do you think they're going to do with the weed at the end of the season?
Yeah.
No, honestly, like what do you think that the college will do with their weed?
Well, it would be sold, would it not?
Mm-hmm.
No, why?
They're destroying it.
No, they're not.
Yeah, it's a research-based program, at least for the first couple of years. And apparently the thing is with all these LPs, you have to have at least 2 seasons worth of sale stockpiled. So I guess in the school's case, because they don't have anywhere to store it right now, my teacher, Bill, the cannabis dude, was saying that he's got to grind it up, blend it up with kitty litter.
Kitty litter. Oh, what a sad death.
Right?
What a sad, yeah, I guess.
But like from the research standpoint, all they really want to do is practice growing, teaching growing, and then let you go out on your own and do your own thing. Back to these 2 guys, the videos, the Doja LP and the Tokyo Smoke, they have now merged, and they are starting their first microcultivation, brand-focused retail licensed production.
Check the stocks out.
Well,
right?
Exactly, yeah. So Doja, obviously they're the LP side of things. Tokyo Smoke's piggybacking off of the fact that they're going to have the weed, whereas Doja is piggybacking off of Tokyo in the sense that, like he said in the video, he's been working on his brand for years. So now they're just going to come together. They're operating out of BC, obviously, Saskatchewan, Alberta. Not too sure about Manitoba. Manitoba's like super scared of cannabis right now. They are terrified. But Newfoundland and Labrador as well. We have something similar with Tweed. They're doing something called Tweed Main Street, which is like their own personal head shop, like trying to bring it out in the open before the green light comes. And I guess they're going to be selling flowers out of that, but I don't know how that works because of the whole government-run monopoly. So maybe it is just going to be a head shop here for the first little while, and maybe they're gearing up in the same sense that the other guys would. Just like throw this shit back on here. Slacking. Yeah, so a lot of movers and shakers in the industry. I was talking last week with my friend Steve about how there's all these jobs that people don't even think about, but there's also like all the little jobs that like are just getting swept under the rug by the big companies and stuff right now. The microcultivation license thing is coming into play because the government already knows they're not going to be able to keep up with the true demand of the recreational legal industry. You know what I mean? So they're going to sell out these goddamn licenses and shit and keep you in the system. They'll know who's growing like mad plants and shit, not through the government. So, or maybe they won't. I don't. It's too early to say with all this shit. They keep changing everything every day. You heard about Sensible Ontario?
No, what's this?
So right now the laws are going to be you can smoke in your personal domicile only, right?
Yeah.
So me, I live in an apartment.
Here we go. I've heard of this. Yeah.
So my landlord can be like, no weed in the house, Craig. And I'll be like, shit. Landlord makes the rules, got to follow them, right? Right?
Can you do that though?
Right, roommates?
yeah.
Are we going to go entertain now?
Here we go.
We'll hold on to that for now.
Okay.
Yeah, so fuck, I've already lost that goddamn point. What was I saying?
Talking about your roommates.
Before that.
Yeah.
The landlord. Okay, right.
Yeah.
Back in. Dive back in. So
go.
apartments, no weed, according to the landlord. Like it's the landlord's choice, which basically leaves me up to: do I go in my car and smoke, which is illegal, out back where it's technically in public view, or do I go against my landlord and risk getting kicked out?
Yeah.
So now people are coming together and being like, yeah, this isn't going to work. We need a task force here. So they're trying to make, like, alcohol has bars, weed's going to have lounges.
We'd love that.
We'd
love that, wouldn't we? Like,
I mean, it's ridiculous that you have something so, like, destructive as alcohol just kind of with their own basis to just you go and get hammered and then maybe get in your car, or like getting in your car is not even the biggest concern anymore regarding alcohol, because there's just so many bad things that it does to your body over long term of too much abuse, right? Like a couple beers here and there.
For sure. No.
But I mean, like, we know people who literally can't put the bottle down, and it's been affecting their lives for the better part of a decade now. And it just sucks, because you imagine where these people would be if pot was legalized from the get-go. There'd be less reason to go to the bottle, and a lot of people's lives would be different. On that note, San Francisco is just talking about reversing a whole shitload of cannabis-related... Okay, the felonies are going to be brought down to misdemeanor charges. The misdemeanor charges are going to be, like, removed, expunged from people's records. Yep. Dating back as far as either 85 or 75. Let's say 85 just for safety's sake. But it's just crazy, man.
What about before that, though?
Well, I think because, like, I don't know, a weed crime, say back in the day, would get you 25 years or something. Yeah. Let's say that's awful. 25 years is like murder, right? And they're giving that to weed. So I feel like anything past, like, the 85, 75, those guys are already out.
Yeah.
You know?
Maybe. Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah.
But they get thrown into prison and then get turned into monsters. So who knows?
Well, no shit. That's another. Fuck yeah. No doubt there.
Just talking to your mic there for a second.
Yo. Yeah.
I just hear a lot of clicks. I don't know what the fuck's going on.
Yeah, you know what's going on.
Yeah, San Fran doing that. That's cool. I feel like the rest of the state, California,
they're legalized, right?
They just got there not too long ago. And it's just a shit show down in the States. I'm trying not to talk about them too much, but It's so hard not to.
It's so hard not to.
Just a circus.
Yeah, it is.
All right, moving right along here. We talked about the LP turned into their fucking head shop. What do you think about our new national anthem?
What do you mean our new national anthem?
Oh, Canada. I don't even know the fucking words.
Yeah.
But the line was true patriot love in all our sons' command. Now they've changed it to true patriot love in all of our command. And it's not like a big fucking deal, but they made a big enough deal out of it that they have to change the fucking national anthem by 3 words. My suggestion, why don't you just change the fucking national anthem to something everybody's going to like a Tragically Hip song?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, fuck yeah.
That would just make more sense
People
to
in
me.
Helsinki rocking out.
Just update everything, you know? Like we're still singing carols from like 100 years ago. And I don't know. Country's changed, man. Country's changed. Speaking of the Patriots,
Fuck, here we go. Yeah,
Super
man.
Bowl. I just said I didn't want to talk about the fucking states, and here we are. I mean, what Canadian doesn't like a good bit of American concussion instigating, right?
Yeah.
So you're pretty anti-patriot.
Oh, buddy.
Yeah.
Come on, who isn't? Like, I don't know, man.
Yeah, you
Like,
got to give it to them.
Hey, man, I respect Tom Brady, the GOAT. Obviously, he is. There's no doubt. It's just, you know, it's like Kanye West. You know, I love his music. Just hate the guy. You know.
Mm-hmm. Kanye. They're talking about how the Kardashians are going to turn him into the next woman.
Fuck yeah, why not? Let's do it up.
Mm-hmm. Your mic's fucking around here. Give me a sec. Talking to Mike?
Yo.
There. Cool. I don't know what the fuck's going on there, buddy. It was good for Steve.
It's all good, man.
I meant to look up because there's always crazy bets on the Super Bowl. Like how long the national anthem's going to last, longer or shorter than 8 seconds. Like what hat is so-and-so going to be wearing.
Will
there
be a horse in a Budweiser commercial?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Shit like that. And it's just crazy what you can put money down on and potentially like make a few bucks just on a random stupid like
Gambling, man.
9-second note at the end of a song could win you thousands of dollars. And then, I don't know. It's not my game. You know? It's just
No.
yeah, not my thing.
No, me neither, man.
I'll watch the game though.
Yeah,
It'll be
absolutely.
good. I think the Patriots are gonna blow the fucking Eagles out of the water. There's rumors that a few of the Eagles are sick right now.
Oh.
The Eagles defensemen are under the weather with this shit that's going around.
Not good.
Just something else. And hey, you can't blame the Patriots for the fucking Eagles players getting sick, you know? I bet there's a lot of people trying to figure out how Tom Brady and Belichick poisoned the fucking players or something.
Would they slip them? Right?
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
How long ago did they slip them at? And it's just starting to take effect now.
Yeah.
Yeah, the whole gender neutral, I don't know, it just seems weird that they changed the national anthem so small just to keep such a percentage of the population happy. And that fucking, what is it now? LGBTQQ.
RC, Xbox One, Xbox One.
Exactly. It's just no fucking idea. Stoner rights. That's all I've got, you know? White boy rights. White boy rights. Like, hey, man.
You can't complain, Craig. You're not allowed to. Yeah.
I do plenty of complaining.
Yeah.
Trust.
Absolutely.
What do you know about the BEEZ, Koelton?
I don't know. I think you're more of the bee guy than I am, but I know they're important, and that's all I know.
Definitely important. Honey, if bees were paid like a fucking minimum wage just gone up, so
Oh, here we go. Yeah.
if the bees were paid like a working wage, then they'd get like 50 grand a day or some shit like that because of the amount of product they produce versus how big they are, something like that. That's a stat that I've heard years ago. And I'm regurgitating. They're obviously natural pollinators and shit like that too.
They make honey, man. You know, like honey is like I know, but you know,
honey's super good for you.
yeah,
Natural.
but like not only that, it lasts forever. It's like one of those, you know, it's
natural anti-inflammatory,
antibacterial, yeah, everything like
all that.
Weird.
So colony collapse. The bees are getting wiped out by pesticides and shit like that. And there's also some natural issues with the current environment with the bees. Where's my video here? Blah 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 blah.
Yeah, I think it's kind of settled, right?
What?
Well, that, you know, bees are declining and they're important, and you know we need to do something about it. And
Here we go.
Right?
Yeah,
We'd
I'm
like to
Alan
introduce
Gertner.
you to
I'm
the
the
Varroa
CEO and
mite.
co-founder of
Well, to be
Tokyo
precise,
Smoke,
we
and we're
would like to
standing in
introduce you to...
Let's try that again. if you get rid of that. All right, here we go.
The bees. We'd like to introduce you to the varroa mite. Well, to be precise, we'd like to introduce you to millions of varroa mites. Why so many? Well, when it comes to the varroa mite, there's no such thing as just one. And if you'd like to see how an infestation starts, you need to look no further than your own bees, especially drones, as they're pretty social and like to travel between hives. Since varroa mites don't have any wings of their own, they slip into hives by hitching a ride on the backs of adult bees. And for the lucky mite, the trip includes an in-flight meal, as varroa mites will begin feeding on bee blood within a few minutes of clinging to the bee. Once they've entered the hive, varroa mites slip undetected into the vulnerable, uncapped brood cells. This is where the mites lay in wait until the bees cap the brood. Once a cell is capped, the mother mite, like a tiny vampire, climbs atop the cocoon of the developing bee, tears open a hole, and begins to feed on its blood. Within 3 days, the mother mite lays her first egg, which always develops into a male. Then, she lays one female egg every 30 hours over the next week or so in her newly acquired home under the brood cap. And as each of these female mites mature, they mate with their brother. By the time the baby bee develops and leaves its infested cell, as many as 3 fertilized mites will emerge with it, and the cycle continues. Using this strategy, the varroa mite population can grow as fast as the bee population it feeds on. But when summer ends and the bee population declines, the hive is left with a huge mite population, and that's dangerous. Too many mites in a hive will overwhelm and kill entire bee colonies. So what does that mean for everyone's favorite insect, the honeybee? Well, honeybee colonies with heavy mite infestations can't effectively pollinate or produce honey because they suffer from diseases and viruses transmitted by the mites. In fact, honeybees suffer from as many as 20 different mite-induced viruses, including the devastating deformed wing virus, which prevents them from flying. If you want to give your honeybees a fighting chance against varroa mites, it's time to introduce your bees to Max. With as little as 2 treatments annually, you can put a stop to the horror story playing out inside your brood box. Apply a spring treatment to protect bees for the honey flow and another in the early fall, so the cluster is healthy and strong going into winter. Max kills mites where they reproduce, under the brood cap. And regular use of Max will protect your colonies year-round. To learn more about Max, the certified organic varroa mite treatment, watch the Max application video here. Connect with Nod and beekeepers around the world by following us on Twitter and Facebook.
Yeah, so I said that to my bee teacher guy, and he was pretty interested in it. He had never heard of this.
You'd never heard of this?
It's a lithium chloride that it's a like food additive, I guess, that they can give to the bees. It doesn't affect the beeswax. It doesn't affect the honey. Safe for like mammal consumption, so like us. And yeah, it stops these mites from reproducing. So it's kind of like turns the tables. So the mites do all this shit to the bees, so like they can't develop properly. And now this lithium chloride does that to the mites, so they can't develop like their proper bee killing, techniques and shit. So yeah, I just stumbled across that a couple days ago. I thought it was something cool.
I got a crazy story about those fucking things.
Bees?
No, those fucking mites, man.
Oh, really?
I did a compost pile, right? Mm-hmm. So I took I think it was alfalfa, right? Just horse feed, right? Like horse feed alfalfa pellets, right? Mixed them up with some some dead leaves, right? Maple leaves. Mm-hmm. And it was pretty crazy, the shit that like just was growing out of there. Like there was mushrooms coming out of it at one point, right? And this wasn't supposed to be that type of compost. It was supposed to be something for the garden, right? Mm-hmm. But I looked in at this pile, and there's these fucking there were flies, and they had these things fucking covered. Oh, gross. Covered. It was gross. This is crazy. This is crazy.
On the flies.
These flies could not fly. They could jump. Dude. They were covered with that. You know what I mean? They were covered that much that they could jump. They couldn't even fucking fly, man. Like there's 20, 30 of these fucking and I never even knew what they were called, but they got to be the same thing. They got to be the same thing.
Yeah, probably.
They were red. They were fucking red little mites. I'm like, that is one of the they were eating it alive.
Like I'm sure the way bees reproduce isn't like just bees. I'm sure there's other kinds of flying insects that do the exact same thing. Maybe not within the hive, but they make a similar hive out of whatever they're close
or whatever.
to.
Yeah, like I
So
don't
something
know.
like that, a parasitic little mite. Yeah, just
Fuck,
gonna
man.
hop on whatever free ride they can get.
The amount
Super
of
gross.
spiders too in that fucking pile, it was weird. Like it was just such an anti like
Ecosystem.
Yeah, it's not what a compost pile's supposed to
Right,
be. Like
yeah.
just there wasn't,
Crazy. You
Yeah,
do a lot
man.
of that compost in organic soil.
I don't do
gardening, shit like
really
that.
not a lot of
No?
it, just a little. I have a couple of those barrels.
Right.
It's pretty crazy. You throw like it was fucked. I threw in like beans and a bunch of like it was quinoa. Yeah, a bunch of all this like high protein shit, right? And holy fuck, man, this mold that grew on top of it. It wasn't a mold. Supposedly it's like a good mold, eh? That this appears on good compost, right? Everybody thinks it's mold, so they throw that compost out or whatever. Don't use it, right? But I couldn't believe the fucking this like layer of fucking mold on top, and I don't know, it accelerated the compost pile like heavily, like it made things go right. Started off fast, right? So it was just really cool.
It's
Like,
all about the microbial
yeah, man,
growth.
they're there. They're
What was
real.
that stuff you gave me a couple weeks ago? For the soil?
Mycorrhizal,
Mycorrhizal.
fucking what is it? Powder. It was a
Spores?
powder.
Spores
Yeah.
or just powder?
Well, yeah, it contains bacteria and fungi that are advantageous to plants, right?
So that itself was the fungus, and then you would feed that shit within the soil, right?
Yeah, like that. What that does is it inoculates the soil with that type of fungus, right? And what that fungus does is actually, instead of the roots being only, let's say, I don't know, 2 feet deep or whatever it would be, like these fungi allow these roots to absorb
Right.
potentially, 10 feet, potentially more, right?
I think
further
that's-
away,
I think
right?
that's because they coat the root. Is that right?
Yeah.
In like their fungus, and then it's like a protective
It's-
layer of the root that can go. further
It's
through the soil.
complicated. Like
Yeah.
there's bacterias and there's fungi that are like basically trading sugar, right? With the root, like whatever the root is exuding, right? With sugars, it's trading that for nutrients that the bacteria and fungi make from the soil to become available, right, to the plant roots, right?
Soil's cool.
Oh fuck,
Nobody
man.
even thinks about it. Yeah.
That's what I mean. It's like that is the foundation one, right? That is where everything starts, right? Like a good soil is, you're gonna have good plant usually if it's fucking with the proper light, right? Proper water, like
You could have two farms side by side of each other, and the only difference could be the soil quality, and that farm on one side will sell for a hell of a lot more than the farm with shit soil, because you're not going to get anything from the ground.
It's unbelievable. It's not even it's just like the antiviral properties and the to the bad bacteria and the bad fungi that can attack plants. What these they there's no room for them to compete,
Exactly,
right? Because
yeah.
there's so many of these bacteria all over the plant, right?
We're just learning about that shit in one of our classes right now, about how everything keeps a balance to one another. Like nothing can really take over when there's all these other little populations,
Exactly.
all like constantly competing for the same space, right?
There's no room for it to grow.
One person can't take over when everybody's trying to fit through the door at the same time.
exactly.
Sort of. Yeah, no, it's really cool shit, man. And just the fact, like, how much fungus, the role it plays in soil, like without. Like you could have super rich nitrogen, potassium, phosphorus in your soil, but if there's nothing there to break it down and make it like usable to your plants, then whoop-de-fucking-do.
Right, that's bacteria too, but yeah, fungi does play a
Bacteria,
role for sure.
fungus,
Yeah,
yeah.
no, they're the decomposers of the world, right? This is what we have. We have these two things. There's other things too. I think like some algae and stuff, right, that are decomposers, but you know, this is
big players.
this is actually, I believe like fungi is the #1 decomposer of the world.
I would believe that.
Yeah, before bacteria though, you would think bacteria, but you know, it's every forest floor, like that's fungi fucking like.
Fungus is crazy too, because like how it grows, just grows like on the top, doesn't make roots, nothing like that.
Well, yeah,
It's
it talks to each other though, right? You've heard about that, where the
Well, that's all fucking plants.
yeah, true, no, true, yes,
It's just crazy.
yeah.
And all the people who just shut their eyes to this whole part of the world that's going on around them all the time.
It's right under your feet,
Legit.
like it's
Literally.
like it's
we're just a fucking wall out away from that snow right now, and that snow is a whole shitload of fungus. I mean, like, we think we're inside, but how inside can you ever really be? It's just a drywall slab between you and the outside.
Drywall slab.
A plane of glass stuck up and secured into place. Like,
we're lucky, man.
what is inside?
Yeah, what is inside?
Yeah.
Here we go, eh?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay, what do we got? Oh, this one's funny. Okay. Talking about science, different science right now. I'm just going to play the fucking video. This is retarded. Do as I do experiment, test the animals against.
Hello?
Come on. Come on. This is. He's going to shit here in a second. He's trying. Yeah, got it.
1, 2, 3.
Talk about nothing to do at work. Oh, that sounded like 3 to me. There, just getting that fart out. Imitating a wolf? Like, how the fuck?
Bye bye. Bye bye.
Okay.
And it's funny because that video wouldn't even exist if they didn't have the fucking prompts over it, like saying bye bye and shit like that.
It's what you perceive.
Exactly.
It's what you
They're
perceive.
trying to guide your perception. being
Absolutely.
Like, oh yeah, it did sound like 1, 2, 3 shit. No, it didn't. It sounded like a fucking whale doing the normal sounds that he always does.
I know.
Yeah, just I found that the other day too, and it's like I'm gonna keep that for the podcast.
This is
fucking retarded.
Yeah, it's like have you heard the ape that they've tried to teach how to? I don't know. I think it was sign language and it's supposed to communicate.
Sign
like
language. Okay,
I don't know.
that's a little bit more.
Obviously, yeah, but
Especially because it's an ape. But I mean, like, the fucking whale has no goddamn clue
I know
what that lady's saying.
hey, man, whales are smart as shit. Though.
They are,
but I
it's
know.
like,
I don't think. Yeah.
How do you? Okay, this is a perfect
not
fucking
a parrot.
tangent. How do you gauge smartness? Because you can be okay in let's stick to humans for a second. You can be fucking book smart. Put yourself out in the desert island, you're dead. You can be street smart. Put yourself out on a desert island, you might survive a little longer. Eat the wrong plant because you don't have the book smarts and fucking die.
Yeah,
you
you go.
need the blend of the fucking two. Yeah, I just don't know how some people can do shit like that. Sit behind a desk all day
Oh
and
man.
just
You
go
know,
insane. They build their
yeah.
own prison, man.
Yeah, man. That's just bad for your back too. That's what I hear. Yeah, it's bad.
I'm sure it's bad for all kinds of parts of your body,
Yeah.
man. Can't be good for your soul.
Yeah. It damages your soul as well.
Where
That's
was
what
I
I've
going
heard.
with that? Where was I
Multiple
going with
studies.
that? Oh yeah, animals and intelligence. We want to talk about intelligence again. Let's talk about the honeybee. They have like the second most complex form of communication skills on the planet.
Yes.
Second to humans because of their weird little dances.
The fucking dance.
They do
yeah.
these figure eights, and depending on how they shake and which way for how long, they can
Communicate.
communicate
it's
to
crazy.
their other fucking buddies and shit. But I saw this video. I don't have it, unfortunately. They took it a step further, and these scientists out in England were able to translate that dance and find the flowers that the bees were communicating. So it's a legitimately communication just to find like the pollen,
To
a
locate,
new place to
yeah.
set up shop, or somewhere to stay away from, shit like that. And that is legit intelligence, if you ask me. That is the most like. What am I trying to say here? That's what they need. That's the kind of skills that they like. To be a bee, you're gonna need to know where the shit is, right? So that's like top of their game needs to be their communication skills. Whereas something like a killer whale, shit like that, they can be a little dumber and still catch food, stuff like that. Not saying they're dumb by any means. They are very, very smart, but
Very smart.
it's just
Yeah, that's
it's
a, that's,
funny
that's
when
a
you
twi-
have
yeah.
people trying to
It's a spin.
say this whale is so smart that it can speak English now.
See, this is the equilibrium, right? This is somebody's scaled it so far to the right or whatever, to the left or whatever,
Yeah, whatever it was.
that it's just skewed. It looks fake because it is. Because it is.
People are funny sometimes. And the shit that some people can get away with putting on the internet and have people believe. I saw a video the other day. It was like creepiest encounters or some shit. It was all done in Japan where like CGI is huge. And it was videos like split second. Somebody runs out behind a bunch of cars in a parking lot and all the car alarms go off and shit. But I mean like all these different cars, minivans and like sedans, and then we get into like Mitsubishis, Porsches, Fords. All the fucking cars are flashing the exact same way, the lights, and they're all doing like the same alarm system and shit. So it's like, if you take a second and just step back to what you're seeing, look at it from a I lost the word. Look at it from like not the perspective that they're trying.
A different perspective.
But I mean,
what? Like, where's that thesaurus?
Where is that thesaurus?
We need it.
The thesaurus would not help me right now. Whatever. It's gone.
Yeah.
It's gone.
And it's
There it goes. I'm trying to catch it right now. It's gone.
just floating away, man. It's floating away.
Yeah. I'm just saying, like, the shit that you see online.
Man, YouTube's a new library. YouTube's a new library. Like, everybody fucking, like, are you fucking serious, people? You getting your facts off of YouTube? Like, listen, there are facts on YouTube,
Right.
no
I
fucking
agree.
doubt. But, like,
A lot of it's bullshit.
this is crazy. Like, it's what, like, hey, it's awesome that we get, like, the access to all this shit. Like, now that, you know, we're in this,
We're in a new world where
digital
you have to
age,
sift through the bullshit to find, like, the gem of truth.
but
on
people
the internet.
still don't do it, though.
People are happy with just
They're
their
just
layer
like,
of bullshit.
holy fuck, this thing. It has like 200 views.
Yeah.
That's it, 200 views. But like, you know, they'll watch it and take it as fact or something, right?
Or
Like I'm saying, the
take
views.
it a step further, and people who just don't do any research on anything before they like get into new drugs or I don't know, start a fucking job, anything
try
like
that,
that. Like,
salvia.
yeah, just exactly. Oh yeah, I'll try that.
What is that?
salvia. I have no idea what it's
What
going to
is
do.
it?
Let's give it a go. Oh, it's like weed, man. It is not like weed, ladies and gentlemen. Do your fucking homework. Salvia is a trip.
Yeah.
Literally flying through space, dreamlike, geometric shapes.
Very cool, though. Very
Female
cool plant.
voices in your head.
What the fuck,
And
man?
yeah, just good times.
Yeah.
Just good times. The furthest I've been from reality, or this reality, I should say, so far.
Yeah, I've never done it. I've just seen people do it. And like, there's been a couple of guys, man. It's crazy, man.
It is crazy, but I mean, like, our brains can process that shit and make it do what it's supposed to do. So
Another reality.
like I said in the last podcast, a lot of people think you're going to die, but you're never going to die. You're going to come back a little different. I think that's a Joe Rogan.
Yeah, no,
quote
that's
right
true.
there.
Yeah, you definitely come back to.
Okay, talking about drugs here. Let's go into our next video. I was talking to my friend about this the other day. Boom.
Oh, here we go.
Okay, I'm getting a headache.
Yes.
It's 12:45.
I mean, where are we going to go once the green light
Jesus
comes
Christ.
in July?
It's true, though. What's the
No.
next one, right?
This is the next one.
This is the next one. That's fucked, man.
God.
I've had cluster headaches for 11 years. The pain is very acute. It feels like somebody is drilling into my temple with a very dull drill, and they're scraping around against the inside of my skull and the back of my eye with a needle or a rod. Magic mushrooms, LSD, ketamine, DMT. These are all used as treatments for cluster headaches,
DMT
and
looks
they're
so cool.
very
Like,
highly effective.
Yeah.
Damn. That's some serious microdosing. 3 grams a week?
3 grams a week. Holy fucking tolerance on that guy.
Well, that's literally you divide that by 7 days.
Oh, I see.
can
He doesn't
absolutely
just
tell
do
you
3
that
grams a
magic
day.
mushrooms
That's what I
are
was thinking.
one of the
Like,
reasons
That's
I'm
how I
still
take
here.
it. Maybe I'm wrong.
oh, I think you're supposed to do. You're right. Like in small doses.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's just crazy because that is obviously the next thing.
Yeah.
But something that nobody even thinks about. Like when I talk to people about cluster headaches and shrooms, they look at me probably how people looked when people were talking about cannabis and cancer 30 years ago.
What the
probably the
fuck?
same fucking way. Like, what do you
What do they
mean?
have in common?
Yeah, you're going to kill
What
yourself
are you talking
faster.
about? They create cancer? Yeah. By smoking? Yeah. See, this is another thing I wanted to ask you. Edibles. Do we know what's happening with edibles in Ontario?
Like, I was at a panel at the school a couple of weeks ago. They had a weed talk thing. They had my professor there. They had the vice president of Up Cannabis there. They had the MP of Niagara, and they had some executive manager in economic research and development or something for the region. So they're just talking about the different aspects that like cannabis is going to affect once the green light comes. And sorry, can you ask me a question again?
No, just it was about edibles, right? How are we doing?
Yes, there is no fucking legislation on the edibles yet. As far as I know, they are banned
So they're banned.
for now.
What? Okay.
Yeah, like that shit's gonna change.
That's completely fucking bullshit.
That shit'll change.
Please. But people are worried about their kids getting a hold of the cookies and shit, right?
Like Steve said last week,
Yeah.
baby steps.
Sure. No, sure. I'm with that, right? But
It'll change.
Yeah.
The people making the laws right now don't know what the fuck they're talking about.
buddy, this is crazy. Like legalizing in fucking like less than how many months? Like I can't. I don't think anybody. Yeah, the countdown clock. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. But it's insane how. We don't know what the fuck we're getting into. Like
It's gonna be a wild west.
it is a wild west. It's you know the market though, the gray market, it's kind of there right
It's
now.
gonna
So
stay. It's all dependent on what the price is, man.
yeah, I agree with you
They
100%
don't-
on
if They
that.
don't put it $5 a gram.
That's what I mean.
They
$10 a G is not going to work, guys.
No, my-
Because I'll just get it
my
off of
fucking
Dylan.
dealer-
I'll go get it off of Dylan.
That's what I mean. There's not going to be one of these. Oh, and I got the.
Hey, Dill.
I got the. It's going to be called the Ontario Cannabis Retail, and then we're not sure on the last C in that yet. Steve said committee. I say council or center.
Yeah,
Because the LCBO is the Liquor Control Board of Ontario.
Yeah.
Liquor Control
Board of Ontario,
So there's
LCBO.
really nothing they can grab there for cannabis. But OCRC is
Yeah,
what they were saying
They'll make up some stupid fucking right.
at the panel.
Yep.
And then I was just trying to figure it out on my own. Yeah, they don't know what the fuck they're doing. They need to get in some fresh blood who, you know, legitimately have been part of the counterculture for the last 10, 20 years growing up into it. It's going to happen. There's going to be new politicians who...
We need some people from Uruguay.
Why?
Because Uruguay is the first country in the world to legalize cannabis.
Legalize or decriminalize?
Legalize cannabis. We are not going to be the first ones.
So they're selling it?
They're selling it.
I did not know
We
that.
could look this up. Right?
I will look this up.
Edison Cavani. He's smoking fucking joints when he goes back home.
So is that because of the high rates of addiction and shit like that?
I
Is
was
that a
watching this thing with the
financial
president, and he's moved the whole country towards this. Like it's I don't know.
thing? Uruguay legalized drugs.
Just check that out 100%. Like, cause I'm not.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it's legalized where they're selling it.
First country you can smoke marijuana wherever you
Okay,
like.
so they're selling it or no?
Cultivation was legalized in 2014.
Okay, yeah.
In
So you can grow it.
July, the law actually stigmatizes marijuana more than it legalizes it. Legalized state fixed sales. Yeah, seems like this.
Right?
Would you classify Uruguay as a first world or third world country?
Definitely not third world. I first world. They're
Second
definitely second world. Yeah, what's in between, right? I don't know. I think they're a 2.5 world actually, or
Sure,
a
yeah.
1.5 world.
I don't know how that escaped me. I thought it was decriminalizing all drugs and focusing more on not incarceration, but
That's good too, though. Like, right?
putting people away.
No, we don't want to put people
That's what I
away.
mean,
Like,
so-
fuck that shit. Like,
Less
cost us
focus,
money.
Less focus on incarceration and more focus on rehabilitation.
That's what we want.
I've talked about Vancouver and the opioid crisis. Yeah, my God, the Vancouver and the opioid crisis
Yeah.
many times before.
Yes.
I've said off the air how when cannabis legalization comes, there's going to be a lot of push on using weed to get people off the harder shit. You know what I mean? A weed habit is much more controllable. By the way, this is tea break day number 2, and I am doing fine. It's much easier to control somebody with a weed habit than a fucking fentanyl habit. The whole thing about fentanyl, we know.
Oh God.
You're just rolling the dice every time that shit comes over from China. One pill could be a half dose. The next pill can make up for that half dose and be a full dose on top of that. So you put the first one in you, meh, feeling pretty good. I'm gonna do another, and the next one is a 1.5, 2 times your first dose, and that's what puts you to sleep.
Stay the fuck away from fentanyl.
Yeah.
Just not even.
Yep.
Not even.
Yep. I mean, nobody starts with fentanyl.
I know. No, everybody starts with fentanyl for sure. It's like, yo, buddy, you got that fentanyl? Yeah.
Obviously,
No, it's
obviously, cannabis is the culprit, and, should be
Gateway.
cast out.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, it is definitely a gateway drug. I'm gonna do some fucking H as soon as we
Yeah.
finish this.
Are you okay? Cool.
Yeah.
I'll join you.
Cool.
Okay. We'll write the best music ever known to man, right?
True. Well, my 27 club is coming to an end pretty soon.
Oh,
and
fuck.
I've got another month and a half, so I better get on that shit.
Yeah, man.
Gotta get some track marks on my arms first.
Come on, man. Bindles. Bindles.
Fucking Bindles, bro. Man, I had a really good fucking point, and we tangented off to opioid crisis. We were talking about shrooms. What about legalizing cocaine? I've never done cocaine. It's not my thing. I like to fuck with shit that comes out of the ground.
Me too.
If that fucks me up hardcore long term, then, it's still within my
But it's
parameters.
natural.
That's the thing.
That's
That's my argument.
Right?
That's what
Yeah,
I'm
it's
telling you.
natural, right? That's what we, yeah.
But talking about cocaine, as we talked about earlier, you can take the leaf and just munch on it, and it'll have an effect.
Workers do it. Workers do it.
So what is the deal with the processing? Why do we need to process it? Is it just for a financial thing so that you can stretch out that coca for as far as you can get it with like your baby laxatives? And again, I'm talking out of my ass. I don't really know.
Well, I would say, like, you got to think about, like, if you're trying to, like, send all these leaves over, like, people want the fucking pure product. And this is why cocaine exists, because there is a demand for it, right?
Mm-hmm.
It wouldn't exist without that, right? So I think, obviously, processing it into powder is, like, yeah,
So it's easier to move.
it's easier to move, it's easier to consume, right? It's everything, right? Like,
It's like, this isn't a good example because you want the whole flower when it comes to cannabis, but it's like extracting just the keef.
yeah, or the oil, taking the oil. Like, I know that's a different, but yeah, like.
Yeah. Okay, fair enough.
Well, fuck, it was crazy. I think it was, what the fuck was that show? Drugs Incorporated. That show.
It's a good show.
And yeah, it's a fucking awesome. That was but it was a long time ago. It was like fucking 5-10 years ago that it was on, right? I think, right?
I think it's still on that.
It's still on, I'm sure, but watch them. They went down to, it was either Bolivia or Colombia, right, or whatever, right? And the way they make this shit, man, like, I know this is obviously one guy in
gasoline.
It was
and
with
shit, right?
no, it was with weed eater. That's how they to break it down. I saw this guy with a fucking, what are they called, the weed whacker, right?
Oh.
And he's inside like this little barn, and he's like whacking up all this fucking coca leaves, and he's pouring fucking like weed eater all over it to break it down. Guys, this is, and then they put it into the fucking barrel of gasoline to like extract the actual.
That's what I've seen. Yeah.
And it's like, no, this is when with cannabis too. It's the same thing. We don't know what the fuck, like, what people did with this shit, right? Like, most of that cocaine is definitely, well, most of it. I don't think any of it is produced in Canada, right? Like,
Probably not.
right? Like cannabis, maybe for sure.
Seems like a lot of work to produce cocaine here. but
Yeah.
Maybe on a small scale.
Well, no,
operation.
like you'd have
I
to
don't
grow it
fucking know.
indoors, and right, like it wouldn't make any sense. But do you really think those people give two fucks about the end product? They're cutting corners every
fucking-
goddamn day, right?
No. I'm watching this show right now on Netflix.
Yeah.
I started with Narcos about Pablo Escobar. Now I've moved on to, it's called Surviving Escobar, and it's about like his right hand man, Popeye, who killed like over 300 people or some
Popeye,
shit.
eat spinach.
And he's like, exactly that guy. He's writing a book in prison now. He's trying to like reform himself, but like the oh my god, I'm fucking stumble bum today. Yeah. The amount of money on this guy's disposal while he's in prison to get shit done from within the cells and still like conducting business outside. It's just crazy to think about. You said what? Escobar 60 million a day?
That's
Something
what
like
I
that?
heard.
Still, like,
And that's obviously a guess.
Right.
I don't know, fucking have his numbers.
he ran
right?
that shit though. He
Top of the pops.
Pablo Escobar, some people think he was a saint and some people think he was not a saint. It's like, what was Colombia before Escobar and cocaine, right? I don't know. I'm talking out of my ass right now. But what was it? All I know is cocaine comes from Colombia,
Craig.
Pablo Escobar, and that's pretty much my knowledge of Colombia. Is that my fault? I don't think so.
I don't know. I don't
think that's my fault.
It's not my fault that I haven't read the books up on it. Yeah, no, it's just you got to see this. Have you seen the Crazy Cocaine Subs?
No.
This is fucked, man. I've seen this couple documentaries, whatever. They They build these fucking subs.
Subs like submarines.
Like submarines. Sorry, not like like submarines in the fucking forest, right?
Oh.
This is crazy. Like out of fucking like what were they call it? Marine like glue and like all this shit. They like put all these like pieces of plywood and stuff together. It's so
Why a
goddamn.
sub?
Why a sub? To get the cocaine into the States or to their next destination. I can't remember if it was it could have been the Caribbean or something, right? But like,
You said it was in the jungle.
yeah, it's in the jungle of Colombia where they were doing it, right?
I guess there's water in the jungle.
Oh yes,
See, I don't
yes. See,
fucking
I know, but
I don't
this is
fucking
what
know.
happens, right? They can launch these subs every time the tide comes in, right? This is the only way to do it because they're so fucking
wow,
big. So they
okay,
build them
okay,
on
okay,
stilts and
okay.
shit, right?
Then tide comes in and picks them
But
up.
there's like these things hold like 4 guys, and there's a shit ton of cocaine.
4 guys, no
Dude,
fucking life jackets.
that's what I
nothing
mean.
like that. It's
Dude,
just full of brim and
It's
blow.
a plywood sub.
That's fucking hilarious.
But,
Hey,
you know-
man, chase that dollar.
Yeah, it's that's exactly what it is. Money can make people do crazy fucking shit.
I just want to grow weed.
Yeah, me too, man. I don't know. I can't wait for that. It's gonna be
It's
gonna be
coming.
a good time.
It's coming. Here, I'll play this video now. The first video I played there at Doja, the guy
Doja.
specifically said July 1st. This is going to be a little boring the first half. I don't know how to fucking do my cuts and shit. But we'll listen to this. Just see how Trudy totally fucking bails on the main question and then just kind of does his own thing.
Sketchy.
Trudy, what are you doing?
There are 5 significant areas that the federal government needs to provide more clarity
We're talking
on
about cannabis
with
right now.
answers to substantive concerns. They include road safety and enforcement and the mechanisms associated with that, preparations and training for distribution networks, taxation arrangements and overall cost coverage, public education campaigns, and supply, demand, and the relationship of supply and demand to the black market. Premiers around this table agreed that should the federal government not engage adequately on these issues, we will need more time to implement the federal government's decision.
The current framework on marijuana is hurting Canadians. Young people have easy access to marijuana, and they shouldn't. Criminal organizations and street gangs are making millions of dollars of profit off of the sale of marijuana. And we need to put an end to this policy that does not work. We have been very, very clear throughout the election, through the election campaign. Since the election campaign, we've been working regularly with our partners in the provinces, and we will be moving forward to do a better job of protecting Canadians, protecting our kids, and reducing the role of organized crime in the sale of marijuana. We are continuing to work with the provinces to ensure that the framework will be in place as quickly as possible, and we are still looking for summer of 2018. We're still looking at summer of 2018 as the time where the legalized
why did you
framework
need to-
will come into play
Why did you need
right
to fix
across the
yourself
country.
on that? You could have let it go and nobody would have called you on that.
Because now we're
He talks about fucking kids. Now, when I was in high school, I was a pretty naive motherfucker. Let's talk about grade 9. I started smoking weed, I think the summer after grade 9, maybe the summer after grade 10. But still, like, my knowledge about, like, drugs in general was non-existent. So,
True.
if he really gave a shit about kids coming up, surrounded by, like, legal, illegal drugs, have a fucking class where you're tested,
Education.
where you're fucking testing on it. It's not
Absolutely.
10 minutes in health class, part of your gymnasium fucking credit,
Yep.
where you spend 1 day of the whole semester in a health class talking about everything from drugs to like safe sex
Yeah,
to everything, just so
exactly.
you can get back out on the fucking court to go play with some balls. Let's have a whole fucking course dedicated to the reality that you're going to be drinking, you're going to be
Yeah.
smoking weed. A lot of
No
kids do
doubt.
blow. MDMA, all that fucking shit, heroin, all the, like, anything that they can get their hands on, you should probably educate your goddamn public, the people who are going to be, what is it, in 2018,
yeah.
it's starting to be legal. Maybe educate these kids now so that when they're of age to start using it, they're going to be like, man, maybe I want to, maybe I don't. Like, if they knew, like,
Or to decipher between what drugs are bad and what are not,
Sure,
right?
sure.
Like, make your own decision
make
there,
your own
obviously.
decision. Yeah,
but
yeah.
Like, you watch some documentaries on heroin, I'm pretty sure you're not going to do them, man. Like, that's it. Do it. Like, it's...
I mean, you said it earlier. The best fucking music comes from the
Wow.
needle.
Yeah.
It's a
I don't know.
trade up.
Yeah,
let's name off a few. Kurt Cobain,
Sublime.
Bradley Knowles,
fucking Blind Melon,
Janis
right?
Joplin,
Yeah.
him from Blind Melon.
Yeah.
Fucking, I could go on and on. The Doors.
No, come on, man. Flaming
Hendrix,
Lips, right? Like,
Flaming
come on,
Lips,
man.
like,
Like-
all of them. Anything good that you listen to, there was probably a little heroin in it.
seriously. Yeah.
No joke there.
Everybody, yeah.
Or no, yeah, legit heroin. There's
No,
something
seriously,
about it.
seriously.
It's just it unlocks the music.
It don't do it, though.
It sinks exactly. That's the thing. You can't just tell people not to do something. You need to be like, this is what it's going to do to your body. Look at the addiction rates. Look at the fatality rates, and then compare it all back to cannabis. You know what I mean? Zero.
Schedule 1 drug.
Zero,
Schedule
zero.
1 drug.
Yeah, of course.
Come on. Are you fucked?
Well, now they're going to make money on it, so it's all good.
Yeah, man.
Baby steps.
Yep, I'm with that.
Moving right along. Great fucking tangent into our next one. Is this our last video already? Motherfucker. How long have we been going at this shit?
I don't even know.
Oh, we're almost at Steve level.
It's
Here, check
12
out this
o'clock at
video.
night. No.
Talking about making money. Basically, I didn't have to show this video. I just wanted to. This is going to be how I left things. But I don't think we're done yet. So, what would you call cannabis beer? What would be your branding for a cannabis beer?
Oh my
I've got
God.
a great name.
I can't fucking wait for that. Like,
what
that's...
what would you? Okay.
Wait, what's the name? I
What
would come
would
up
you
with. You
call
just
your
drop
fucking-
that on me.
You're
Let me
damn
like.
right.
I'd have to
Yeah, think
goddamn.
about it.
I'd have to go back into the fucking think tank and like do it. You know, like I have no idea.
Colas.
What is it?
Colas.
Colas.
I think that would be a great.
As in
beer's
like
name.
the
fucking
the
like,
cola
head
the
of your
plant,
plant. Yeah, I feel like that would be a
Yeah,
great
man.
beer name. They're not going to go with that, I'm sure. But you heard it here first.
because the commercial there was Corona, right?
Corona.
Yeah.
Is I think they're getting together with Aurora, based out of Alberta.
But Aurora is with Canopy, are they not? No, they're not. Okay,
their
they're
own
separate.
Fucking people, man. They're
Yeah.
gonna run the show.
My buddy's got like fucking 20 fucking grand in stocks into that shit.
In
Eh?
Aurora.
No, in Canopy right now, right?
Well, that's
But
cool.
Aurora's another one that
I'm
people are
looking
looking
at
at.
Aurora,
Yeah,
yeah.
man, because it's low right now. Canopy is like fucking.
It's like $35 a
Is that what it is
yeah,
now?
Yeah.
Because we were looking at it, and it was like 20 when he was at it. This is like a couple months
So
ago.
remember this. Today is February 2nd, 2018. I think Aurora stocks are sitting around $14, $15 today, and Tweed is $35.
What?
Give it 6 months and see what those numbers
Yeah,
are.
man. Because Aurora was at $3 when I was looking at it. $3. I know. Should have
They're
jumped.
based out of the fucking airport.
Direction.
Tweed
yeah.
was at the school today. I gave him another resume. There's a job fair coming on Valentine's Day. Good way to spend a shitty day like that. We got anything else, buddy?
No, I don't know.
About
Man.
it. This was fun.
That was good.
Yeah, a lot of fun.
It went by super fast.
Yeah, we're
Like-
almost matching my last podcast, so that's pretty.
That
sweet.
was a quick.
solid hour,
Quick.
but it goes by fast, right?
Yeah.
Throw some videos on, do some drugs. And,
Yeah, do some. Yeah.
yeah, you know.
All right.
All right, where's my fucking outro here? We're gonna get out of here. Play some Grand Theft Auto or something.
Chill.
Chill,
Yeah.
chill it up.
Yeah.
All right, everybody. Hope you enjoyed. Till next time. Thank you very much.
Peace.
Great CANCAST. Bye bye.